The biggest threat to mental health today: AI, social media, or loneliness?
All of the above.
How hard was it for you to raise two children with special needs?
Not easy. They have dyslexia and dyscalculia. She's been bullied in school. She said, this elevator is not for you. I won't try to fit them into a system that is not designed for them.
But ultimately, how are they going to earn a living?
Children who are diverse, they're already coming with a very strong identity. They actually create a new world.
In the medical system in India, how geared is it to handle diversity?
Do we know there is something called neurodiversity? Yes. Do we understand it? The answer is no. Are they equipped to support? No. One of the biggest things in that is parents themselves. Problem is you have actually made them more maladjusted by not accepting them.
There's so much pressure. They need help.
Exactly.
Hello and welcome to Beyond Pink. Today, I'm delighted to welcome Santoshi Kittur to the show. Santoshi has a background in tech consulting, her most recent role being Chief Technology Officer at 360 One Wealth and Asset Management. Through her career, Santoshi has won several awards, including the Alternative Investment Thought Leaders Award in 2024. But that's not what we are going to talk about today. Today, our conversation is going to be about neurodiversity. And you'll understand why as we dive into the topic. So let's start with the fact that you have adopted two girls, both of whom are neurodiverse. So, of course, at the point of adoption, you had no idea. But as they grew up and you discovered that there are difficulties, learning difficulties, behavior difficulties, how did you feel about that?
Of course, as any mother would be, I was a little distraught because I saw them struggle with the regular system. So all my feelings were not about the fact that they have the challenge. They had what they had. But I think most of the emotion came from trying to fit them in a system that was not designed for them. So I think most of my emotions came not from the fact that they were special or diverse, but the fact that we were trying to push them into that. And that was a struggle and that was a challenge. So that's where it really came from.
And how did you diagnose their condition? How did it get diagnosed?
I think it was pretty obvious. I think with my younger daughter, when we brought her home itself, she was 14 months. There were definitely a lot of signs. But then with children who are in homes, you will see that there's a very high probability of neurodiversity because of the baseline condition in which they are.
Okay.
So either children are moved from one home to the other. And we look at these little babies and they can't speak. So where is all the trauma, the distress, the fear? I mean, look at normal children. I always say that to my daughters that you are very special. While most babies are, when they're born, there's an entire family hovering and they're swathed and they're fed. You put yourself to sleep. You survived everything that was there. Because when they came home, they didn't need to be patted, tapped, carried to be put to bed. They just went to sleep. So the discovery that they have a challenge, they were quieter, the speech was slower. My older daughter was just less than 4 kgs at 8 months, so it's not yet holding her neck. So the signs are all there. The signs are all there, and it comes from extended, challenging, early environments, and for many of them also womb trauma.
Okay.
Many of these children are left. So what happens is the parent probably knew this is going to happen. So you're never wanted. So for 9 months, there is always that in the mind of the mother that I'm going to let you go. And we think that doesn't make a difference, but it makes a huge difference for someone who's inside you for 9 months. It's a very subconscious message. We so underestimate that.
Did you have to go to some clinic or some doctor to get their diagnosis, or how?
Yeah. Essentially, you can't diagnose until 2 years. You can't diagnose anything.
Right.
Because it could just be early, sometimes with preemies, you have, developmental milestones and they catch up.
Yeah.
So it's only after 2 that you can go and diagnose. And I was very lucky to have known Dr. Vibha Krishnamurthy. She's an angel. She's the one who has brought developmental pediatrics to India. She set up Ummeed, and Ummeed truly has been that hope for a lot of people, whether you have wealth or you don't have wealth. I mean, Ummeed supported so many people who did not have the means, who had children who were special needs or neurodiverse. So it was through Ummeed. And I think what she tried to say again and again, which I think I understood or probably internalized completely after a very long time, was just work on the relationship, let there be peace. You know, in terms of they will grow at their own pace. They will all grow. Not all the pots in our garden are the same. Some are creepers, some grow only up to a certain height. And the ability for us to understand and accept that, given that we've come from backgrounds where our upbringing was really like a factory model.
Yes.
We were in a narrow range. Our ability to accept a broad range is very limited.
Yeah.
So I think Vibha really helped prepare me for, and I will be very honest, I struggled initially because we had a lot of hospitalizations. There are lots of challenges. There are lots of behavioral health, fitting in, social, all sorts of fear. I mean, when you have children who perhaps have had a lot of trauma in the womb as well, fear comes in from day one. So how do you make them comfortable? How do you make that energy feel that it's all okay? Because they have survived. They would have survived 9 months in the womb and maybe a year till you bring them home without. So they have figured out their own survival mechanism, and it's not going to be easy for them to trust you.
That's a pretty astute observation. As babies, they are very Darwinian way of making their presence felt.
Absolutely. We underestimate that because in many ways, most children are sort of taken care of right up front.
Yes.
And we don't see that streak in them. But when you see children from homes, there is, you can, like you said very well, the Darwinian survival system is definitely there.
So how hard was it for you to raise 2 children with special needs?
Not easy. And I say it was not easy because I was trying to do it in a way that's not designed for them.
Okay.
If I were to do it again, I just let it go.
Okay.
I won't try to fit them into a system that is not designed for them. So it was difficult, but now if I look at them, they are 20 and 18. They are beautiful. They are beautiful. Yes. Into such beautiful human beings.
Yes.
They've taught me so much about life, about how narrow a perspective I had, and that there is joy in everything if you allow yourself to see it, because they're just joyful. They don't see themselves as limited. Anushka is a very dark chocolate shade, and she thinks she's gorgeous, and I love that. I've never had to tell her, although she's been
gorgeous.
Bullied. Thank you. She's been bullied in school for being dark. She's been asked to take elevators that belong. She said, "This elevator is not for you. You should be going to that." She's been all sorts of But what I love about her is you can't put her down. She says, "Mama, I'm gorgeous, and I think this is going to look lovely on me." And I just love that. So both of them have grown up, and not only the survival instinct, but their own soul. If we allow that soul to shine, what shines is beautiful energy, and actually it was designed to give you more colors in the rainbow.
What kind of school did you put them in? Did you put them in schools for special needs kids, or did you put them in regular schools?
If you look at Anushka, at the age of 4, she was reading. So I remember we had admitted her to an IB school. Every day when it was time for the kids to leave school, they would have all the older kids get on the bus. By then, the younger ones would be waiting. And she would be sitting on the floor with all her friends around her and reading. So she was the earliest reader in her class.
Early learner.
But that's a pattern. No, I can't say, because it's learning disability. Being able to read fast is not a sign of learning quotient.
I see.
It's not. So I think in diversity, in terms of language, she's brilliant. Today she writes music, she writes stories, she writes poems. Ask her to do math, terrible. But talk to her about spatial intelligence, art, she's brilliant.
Okay.
Right? Music, she just gets it.
Okay.
Right? So the reason schools are hard, because the learning pattern is very fixed. The way we expect it to learn. It's more a concrete learning process
Yes.
versus an abstracted
Yeah.
learning process. So when you are neurodiverse, you could be very good at one thing. And we had tests done on Anushka. We do it Umeed every 2 years to understand where is the strength and where is the weakness. So language happened to be her most, she was always 3-4 years ahead of her age group on language. But that was not true for math. And also she came with a very strong streak. So she would refuse to do sport or do or study subjects that were of no interest to her, biology, physics, chemistry. I mean, I remember sports day, my child was the only one when all the kids are running after the whistle's been blown. She just stands there and looks at the audience and says, really? You think I want to run? No. So I just love that. She didn't just care. She just walked straight back to the pavilion and said, okay, I'm done with this one. Since you forced me to the line, I've arrived here, but I'm going further. So I think
that would be very disturbing, but for the school people, the authorities, the
I think
teachers,
they were very supportive because then at that time you're very small.
Yeah.
You're very small. You know, you're in kindergarten. But then as you grow up, you refuse to go to sport events, and then nobody forces you because you're. But when you're in KG, first standard, everybody's running, everybody's doing a race.
Yeah.
But as you grow up, you start developing a personality, and then the schools don't force you. They are. So I think with their learning patterns, I think the ability, I would say, to be able to leverage on what they had, like Ananya, my older one, has been a great drummer. And even by the time she finished 10, she kind of scored really well in her 90. But the problem is that we look at everything quantitatively.
Yes.
Our definition of performance is very concrete, very narrow.
I know what you're saying.
So we didn't last very long in the IB system.
And you're saying that about the IB system.
Because I have a point of view, I think IB is brilliant when the child, because IB is unstructured learning, right?
Yes.
So that means your brain has to be structured. You put an unstructured brain on an unstructured problem.
I see.
How do you go from an unknown to a known? You need a structure. So if the problem statement is broad and open and exploration is the path, you need to have some method or framework of how you will get from point A to point B. But if you are not structured, and that I could be wrong, this is my observation, that putting someone who's highly unstructured into an unstructured program, and that's why when my kids came out of that and went to ICSE, they did much better. Much better.
That's surprising.
Because it sort of gave them structure.
That's counterintuitive, actually.
Because they're not exploratory in a certain way. See, education as we know it expects exploration in a certain form. Can I discover math through music? Right now, does my curriculum allow that in 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade? Some schools do, but can I just keep at it like that and learn math? Perhaps not. That's why I keep saying that definition of special needs, we consider it as always as a learning disability.
So what was there?
They have dyslexia
Okay.
and dyscalculia. What dyslexia and dyscalculia do is basically your ability to read and your ability with mathematics, right? There's another kind of developmental disability called dysgraphia, where you have trouble writing, but that's not their challenge. They write very well. So if you are able to change a subject and put it into a way that somebody who grasps differently can grasp it, they end up doing very well because they can write.
So did they have a special educator? No.
They had a special educator only now.
Okay.
And that too because they choose to do homeschool. Because they are homeschooled, they have a special ed. So they have a partial homeschool. They go to school when they want, and that's why they have a special ed. Otherwise, until 10th grade, they had no tuition, no tutor, no nothing. Because I had told them, let's do what you can.
Why are they homeschooled?
Because the open school system, which is neither ICSE nor IB, there is another board called the National Open School System, gives you that option. You could be homeschooled and could be in school as well. So they are actually students of the Aditya Birla Integrated School.
Okay.
But they have the option to go to school or homeschool on days they don't want to go.
And did they have any therapy also?
Yes. Of course.
And that helped?
Absolutely. I think therapy is needed when you are different and you're trying to align to a system where the pressure is on you to align to the system.
Yes.
See, if you look at today neurodiversity, and I say that because I've been diversity champion even in the workplace, is that the pressure is always on the person who is different. Now, what is different? Even I am different, even you're different. Tell me anybody who's not.
Yeah.
But because we have a mold, we expect the person who doesn't fit that mold. We call them different, and the pressure and the sort of the burden to adjust is theirs and not ours.
Correct.
Right? So it's really a very, I would feel a very restricted world, which is thankfully, thanks to Gen Z and Gen Alpha, is evolving because they are refusing to follow what was set up in the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s and say that, our difference is important to us. We carry it with pride and you need to adjust to it. So I think the world needs to come to that place, because then there won't be differences. It'll just be diversity. It won't be special needs. It won't be anything. We put people into buckets because either we can't understand them or they don't fit into our definition.
Right.
And so I just think it is diversity. And in the past, because of the way the world evolved post-World War and the Cold War, is every country was trying to stand up and get successful. So the definition of what fits was very kind of narrow or well-defined, I would say, and made no space to bring in variation. And therefore, I don't even, say special needs. I would say just diverse. And diverse with the ability to say we are diverse, hold that space, don't allow the system to break you. And that's where therapy helps. Therapy helps to, tell you it's okay. Correct. Because the world is saying it's not okay. So who's that person who's telling you it's okay?
So long way to go.
Long way to go. And I think one of the biggest things in that is parents themselves, if you ask me.
Okay.
In terms of accepting, making room for. Because I think demand sometimes will create supply. If there is demand for more schools, if there are schools dedicated to this, and parents are okay to look at education not as a means to employment, not as a means to wealth, and just as a means to help children navigate, to become...
socialize better.
To become well-adjusted adults. Problem is you have actually made them more maladjusted by not accepting them.
And is that usually the case? Parents don't accept easily?
Yes, because see, I'll be very honest. I put my kids through 7-8 years of regular school. Could I have let it go earlier on? Yes, but when by the time I understood what diversity is, what it entails, we'd lost a lot of time. So they had to go through all of that and build their own maladaptive patterns, trying to just cope with a system that doesn't accept you. So I think acceptance is the key word here. When you accept that I'm going to be unique and each person is really unique and I'm not going to try to fit them into a mold, the system makes room for it because I am accepting that I will not live a normal path as far as education is concerned. I will not go to Ivy League. I may just grow up to, do whatever I want to do. And employment and money may not be a part of that equation. That acceptance is a lot of setting free. And when parents accept that, they set their children free. And children who are set free have no boundaries. They go to heights.
That's true for not just special needs children. That's true for all children, actually.
Yes. But no, all children tend to go where their parents tell them to go, and their identity is defined.
They are wired to
their identity,
understand.
Yes. Yeah. They allow their identity to be molded by what is out there.
Yeah.
With children who are diverse, they're already coming with a very strong identity. They actually create a new world. In some ways. Diversity forces. Today we have so many pronouns because there are people who are saying, I want to be. And I care to be, and I will not hide. And I'm proud of it. So I think it creates space for itself.
And do parents try to hide, their children's condition or situation? Do they try to, move on as life as normal?
Every parent, and sadly the way we've all been brought up, is we see only one means to happiness. We see one road to happiness, or rather happiness is equal to a home, roof over our heads, income, and we see only one path to it. So we cannot imagine another, there might be another path. So do parents accept? I've seen all sorts of combinations. I've seen some brilliantly, brilliant, elevated souls who are free and who are bringing out such incredible human beings. Because the world going forward is just going to get more and more diverse. And these are the earliest examples of what is free look like, what does free look like. And then, of course, there are others, but it's all a journey. Honestly, it's not a Boolean, do you accept or do you not accept? It's actually a state that you achieve in degrees. You accept, but you don't internalize. You accept externally. Then you start internalizing it, and all of you accepts it. That's when none of the old systems or conditions or makings of the thing, makings of what we've lived with matter.
In the medical system in India, how geared is it to handle diversity?
I think the medical system is quite advanced. If you look at really good, there is knowledge. I would say advanced is the wrong word. Does India understand that there is diversity? Answer is yes. Are we equipped to address it in the way the US or UK is right now, be it socially, be it from the education system, be it in the workplace, or even being from a clinical standpoint? Are we equipped? And I don't think we are mature. Do we know it's there? Everyone's talking about diversity. Neurodiversity, all sorts of diversity. We are talking about it. And if we look at it, earlier we had just gender diversity and we talked about it till the cows came home.
Yes.
Right? Nobody wants to talk about it anymore because it's no more. Right? Then they came the whole age of what are my preferences? What's my identity? The diversity around the identity, pronouns. And that's picked up, and now we have a certain maturity we have on that. So the next one waiting to take off in terms of developing maturity is neurodiversity. And do we know there is something called neurodiversity? Yes. Do we understand it well enough or consistently enough? The answer is no. Are we equipped to handle it? No, obviously, because we don't understand it. If we could understand it better, we would be better equipped. So I think it's in the stages of maturity that different kinds of diversity have passed. We are still the plane that's waiting for clearance from air traffic control to sort of take off.
But is it getting sort of included in our whole education metric now?
Yes, it is getting included in the education metric. I think the unfortunate part is the system doesn't understand it. Has the curriculum changed? No. Can I, as somebody who is neurodiverse, can I pick different subjects in 5th, 6th, 7th? No. If I'm going to a regular school with a regular board, are the teachers, would they know there's a neurodiverse case here? Are they all trained beyond the basics in terms of identification, beyond identifying? Are they equipped to support adequately? And I think it would be an unfair ask on them to be able to support so much because they're already supporting kids who are ahead on the curriculum. They have to deliver a curriculum. They have to get kids to perform on the curriculum. And now they have to handle diversity and be able to support that too. It's perhaps a hard ask. But having said that, have we even internalized all these dimensions? No.
But ultimately, what are they going to spend their time on, or how are they going to earn a living?
I want to take a step back, Samita. There were Paralympics. The Paralympics is a great reflection, gives us point of reflection on, we looked at people who had disability or what we call disability, but they were just differently able. That didn't stop them from competing. It doesn't stop you from doing whatever it is you're doing. So I go back to the same thing. Our definition of career is actually going to a building, working for someone, and that construct has been changing a lot since COVID. Were there neurodiverse kids when we were growing up? The answer is yes.
Of course.
They were there. When you had joint families and family businesses, nothing came out because it all worked out. Why is it suddenly visible? It's visible because of nuclear families and fewer family businesses and everybody going and having to work for somebody else.
That's a good observation.
Yes. It was always there. So we survived then. They'll survive now. They'll just chart newer paths. There are lots of young people who are just becoming artists, collaborating. While for me, I don't know about how much money it will make you. But if you really stay the course, diversity actually can be used as a strength, especially in the space of music and art. So this will bring out a generation that produces expression the way we have never seen it before. Because was neurodiversity there? And like I keep saying, when we were growing up, yes. Were they given expression? No. But we didn't notice either, because it all sort of between the joint family construct and the family business construct, you didn't see it. It's just that you're seeing it now. And we're seeing it now and we're worried. Actually, we needn't be, because it will create a new construct. And the way we look at education, income, life, happiness, all of that is going to be so different for our generation to even fathom, because we are continuing to fathom it the traditional way.
Talk to me about psychiatric treatment in India and facilities for psychiatric treatment. I know you're on the board of Sukoon, you said.
Yeah.
What is Sukoon?
So, a couple of things I've observed in India. Firstly, most people, most of us, when I say people, I include myself, how much do we understand the difference between psychologist and psychiatrist, number one.
And what's the difference?
So a psychologist is somebody who offers you therapy, but is not a doctor, is not a not somebody who has a degree in medicine. So anybody with a degree in medicine and psychiatry has the ability to prescribe medication, do deep clinical work. And I'm just oversimplifying it perhaps, but has the ability to study the brain, who has studied the brain as an organ, whereas psychology studies the construct of the social. Not just while psychiatry is a lot of heavy focus on biology, neurology, circuitry, chemistry, psychologists have more of a social, anthropological, emotional angle. So there's a complete difference. So one is medicine is a science and the other is mind and environment. And even within psychology, there are clinical psychologists and there are counseling psychologists. And counseling psychologists are those who you go out to get counsel, to get support. If I am, for example, facing a hard time at work, I could see a therapist to help me address what's causing so much anxiety. There could be some attachment or some maladaptation or processing challenge, right? And if my anxiety doesn't recede, I may need a clinical psychologist to actually assess me, to say how bad is bad. So one is going to a counselor or a counseling psychologist to get a sense of what's really, is it anxiety? Is it depression? I'm just struggling to wake up in the morning, get to work. What is it that I'm going through? And once you have that, how bad is bad? And once you know that it's really bad, then you may want to see a psychiatrist, because it's like, I really need glasses now. I'm standing right next to the board and I still can't see what's on it. So that's the way. So firstly, in India, I think in terms of how the market perceives this stream of medicine, psychiatry, mental health, we're not very mature. It's only now that everyone's starting to seek help, but it's not like the US or UK or the West, where this is considered like wearing glasses or using an inhaler. You can't breathe, you just use an inhaler. So people seek help where they struggle. But somehow in India, of course, past, taboo, need to stay close, keep stuff close, joint family construct, stigma associated with being able to share or being vulnerable outside of the family construct. All of that has kept this very much sort of peripheral in terms of how we understand it and how we go seek help. So in many ways, many times I see that people don't go seek help because they have preconceived notions about mental health, about when I need help. So they actually sit on the problem till it gets quite severe. So to give you an example, if you're continuously anxious and you stay anxious for a long time, you start dropping things in your daily functioning because your anxiety. So you forget keys, and then you miss your flight because you've forgotten the dates. And then you start feeling bad that I just can't seem to get stuff done. And if you have consistent anxiety and you start functioning, your functioning gets impacted, your daily functioning gets impacted, you start getting depressive. That I just can't get even this done. I won't even try. And there are days you don't want to get out of bed. So if you don't address these things on time, you you start backing yourself up to the wall, and now you have a big problem because you have anxiety and you have depression. A part of your brain is always worked up, that's called anxiety, and there's the same part, another part of your brain is worked downwards,
switching off,
is not wanting to do. So you can imagine the state of play where you're even more dysfunctional, and then start all of the social issues. You're not engaging with me, you're not being a good spouse, you're not producing work, you're not showing up on time, you're missing meetings, you're not contributing. But actually it's this. Everybody wants to contribute, everybody wants to be alive in a relationship. The thing is, what's keeping me from it? How do I go get help? Do I really understand I need help, or it's just like, I'm just going through a hard bit? And that's fine. You don't need to always, you need to take a moment.
Hit the panic button.
Yeah. Sometimes it's functional stress, right?
Yeah.
I've got to get the kids to school, I have a flight to catch, I have an important meeting. There's functional stress, but when functional stress becomes anxiety, and when that anxiety grows to a point where if it starts impacting your functioning, and there are days when you can't get to it, I think all the signs are red.
Right.
It's important to go get help. And I think in terms of the market, we've not traditionally been open to going getting help. But I'm really blown away by when I look at the quantum of prompts there are on large language models around mental health. People asking ChatGPT or Claude to support them on what they are going through, which is typically what a psychologist would have done. It shows that there is a need. There is a need, and that we need help. The fact that India is a huge market we may have 6-7 million, I won't say it's huge, but it's latent potential market. 7 million users who use all sorts of apps like Calm or Headspace or Insight Timer. All of these are wellness, wellness, but they're reaching out for some sort of support. The only problem is, once you get to slightly more severe, you have to go see someone. And digital therapeutics have not come to India yet, where you have advanced counseling using digital. And this is what ChatGPT is doing.
Yes.
It is a digital therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's not trained to be a digital
Yeah.
therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's not trained. It doesn't know. It's positively supportive. So if you complain, it supports you. It has a psychophancy factor.
Yeah.
It's not trained to be your therapist or counselor, but people are going there, which means that there is a need, there is demand. It's a very evolving space. And I think as a race, as a human race, change has never been this fast. We biologically are not designed for the world we are living in and what's coming. Biologically, we're just not designed for this rate of change. And so things are going to break. The question is, does everyone know where they can get help?
So coming to kinds of psychiatric assistance and your experience with Sukoon.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sukoon is India's, I would say, the first private super specialty hospital chain which is focused on mental health.
Oh, wow.
So if you wanted to today, let's say I have a very severe condition of extreme anxiety, depression, and I become very suicidal, you would have to admit me, because I would be at huge risk for myself, because I need the medical support.
Yeah.
So typically you could go to any of the hospitals in India, whether it's the large institutions like Apollo, Fortis, or Bombay Hospital, or Messina, or Nimans. They all have psychiatry departments, right? And Nimans, of course, is dedicated to mental health. So if you look at hospitals, they have psychiatry as a department. While that is great, I think it's time to have super specialized care. If you can have it for infertility and you can have it for cardiology, super specialized hospitals, for eye care,
right,
then why not for psychiatry? Because for mental health, I would say, because the way you handle mental health as a part of anatomy, and you handle mental health especially as just mental health, the dimensions change. A super specialized hospital looks at 6 conditions in mental health very uniquely. Conditions could be everything as simple as anxiety and depression, to substance abuse being a different bucket, to fear and paranoid disorders, to degenerative conditions, schizophrenia, violent Alzheimer's, all sorts of conditions. They look at each as a unique, not like, let me bung it all up together and here's psychiatry for you. So I'm glad there is Sukoon because they are bringing super specialization and the treatment of this, which is nuanced to India. And the founding team has global experience in creating huge assets globally. They nuance, because you have nuance. Your treatment is also nuanced. And therefore, when you have nuanced treatment, it's like taking a broad spectrum antibiotic, trying to solve a very, specific issue.
Yeah,
it takes time. Yeah. So what they do is think of them as a real super narrow spectrum solution, because they handle each of these very uniquely, right from the way care is given, recovery rates, post-care, post-hospitalization. So they offer you everything from early intervention to crisis care, break glass support.
And how is the response to these, to Sukoon in India?
Phenomenal. I think right now they have about 5 centers in India and they are growing very fast. And I think they're always full up. So I can see that people are
really addressing a need.
Yes, very much.
Amazing.
Very much. And they're also incidentally at universities now, because the University Grants Commission mandates universities to have counseling as a part of the campus facility.
Right.
I think
less than high time.
Yeah, less than 5% of 5-6% of universities have a formal program. All the best schools have it.
I mean, students are under so much pressure.
Yes, exactly.
There's so much pressure. They need help.
Exactly.
So coming to your own, you are developing a platform for mental health.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. It sounds very interesting. What exactly are you doing?
From something as simple as who is the right person to go to?
Sure.
And who will tell me what exactly I need? Is that the right answer? Where do I go get it? And what do I do between the sessions with the therapist, which probably once a week or sometimes intensive, but what do I do in between? How do I sustain? When things get really bad, what are my options? How can I get to those options? So I found that what we have in India is between psychology, which is brick and mortar, clinics and psychologists. The biggest challenge was always finding the right psychologist who could understand how I could help my daughters. They've got multiples. My kids have so many experiences. If your psychologist doesn't have some part of that lived experience or the training to handle that experience, we are not going to help the child. Actually, it's going to make them more traumatized.
Yeah.
So I could not find, it took me a long time to find the best help. Now we have the best help. The second aspect was even digital wise, if the platforms that are there are mostly wellness and they are self-service and they are targeted to adults. They are not targeted to children or teens. So if you ask me, I was left with nothing but the therapy option, which is the right option, but without a digital twin. So what do I do between therapists and how do I find the right therapist? So what I'm trying to do is trying to bring all the ingredients together to say, how do I build a platform where I can do a self-assessment? What I'm going through. Is this anxiety? Is this depression? Clinically led. So what we're trying to do is bring in the clinical side. It's not another self-help wellness platform at all. It's a clinical first platform. And it is designed by doctors, it's designed by psychiatrists and psychologists and PhDs. So what you get in terms of how I'm doing, how am I doing digitally, can I ask? And if I may be reluctant to go to someone, can I do it self-check? Answer is yes. And once I do that, how do I find the right therapist nearest to me who has handled someone who understands, let's say, corporate workspace and what it takes to bring up neurodiverse children and what it takes to be single and let's say I put 5, 6 and if I had parents who were ailing and I had to support something else, now I'm definitely a perfect use case for complexity, right? Who would be the right person to address that? And if I do address that, am I in good hands? What is the path? So how have I been triaged? How I've been assessed? Do I have it with me? Do I have my longitudinal data? Like your blood reports. Last time I saw my hemoglobin was 10. Now it's gone down to 9. Is there some way for me to track how I'm doing? And Diagnosis, if I go from a psychologist and they say that now you need to see a psychiatrist because we need some medication to support you, can I have all of that in one place? And can that diagnosis be available, the outcome of the assessment and my conversations with my psychologist be available on demand to my psychiatrist, so the treatment comes together faster? Because unlike anatomy, mental health, medication is a titration process.
Okay.
You titrate your drugs. You never get it right. Here's a headache, here's Saradon.
Yeah.
It will take care of it.
Yeah.
It's never like that.
Yeah.
So in that titration process, you don't want to lose too much time trying to get on top of what's really wrong with you.
Yeah.
So how can you triage, diagnose better? And then use a combination of medicine, which is RX, and therapeutics, which is a TX, and bring them together. And some part of that therapeutics are digital, and some is human. And how do you create a platform? So that's what we're attempting to do.
You said it's an AI first platform?
Yeah.
Is that what you're building? Can you explain a little more about that?
Think about something as multiple choice question. When I'm doing an assessment of you, and it's multiple choices. So it's a very deterministic approach. It's either 1, 2, 3, 4. What if I am something in between? What if it's probabilistic? What if my response is more about placing a dot somewhere on a screen? I'm feeling this. It's not deterministic, right? How you start needing probabilistic systems to handle probabilistic use cases, probabilistic scenarios.
Okay.
So that's why AI is very interesting, because it is probabilistic in nature. So when we design, mood defines what I need to ask you. So the conversation is not like a chatbot when you get help on your, WhatsApp. Is it product 1, 2, 3, 4, or are you having a problem with this? It's never like that. It literally adapts itself to your mood. And most of what we are building is so visual. It's not asking you to restrict yourself to words, because some things can't be expressed in words. So it's a lot of imagery. It's a lot of wide angle, place it here or place it here. Right? And every time the same question sort of comes, look, you are seeing it on a different surface. So sometimes you see them as, slider. Sometimes you may have an associativeness with an image, or you may just want to say something. So the power to express and handle expression, which is probabilistic and varied in nature, and yet get an inference out of it, is possible only with AI. Deterministic system follow an algorithmic logic.
Yes.
With probabilistic systems, you can have a lot of axes, multiple dimensions to the same response. So I can have a biological, for example, I could say that my heart rate is really fast, which is a biological aspect of it. And then I could have a psychological aspect. Say I'm feeling fear. That is coming from, fear comes from the brain, but the biology's got an elevated heart rate. And the social aspect could be, I've just been rude to everybody around me because I'm feeling so constrained or uncomfortable. At such a level to be able to handle n number of dimensions of what an expression might be is possible with AI. And that's what we are trying to do.
That's amazing. While I was talking to you, I was nodding away so vigorously, because a lot of what you were telling me has resonated with me, because as a child, even I felt a bit of an outsider in my own environment. Maybe I was more imaginative or sensitive. Sometimes it happens. I'm not talking about having any sort of learning disability, but definitely that feeling of discomfort that, I'm different. And something about me is different. And then the social judgment that comes in from feeling different and then being treated with difference. And then how hard one works to adapt oneself. You try to suppress all those. You just want to, just take an emery board to all your differences or, eccentricities.
To be someone else. You have to become someone else.
And you have to become someone else. And as a child, that becomes difficult.
Stifling.
And stifling. And yet you do it. Because you want to blend in. You want those friends. You want to, not feel...
Be accepted.
You want to be accepted.
Acknowledged.
Yes. So all the time that you were talking to me, I was just going back and thinking about myself. So thank you so much for this, Toshi.
Not at all. It's been such a pleasure, Sangeeta. Such a pleasure.
Hello and namaste. I hope you've been watching these conversations that I have brought to you with some very remarkable women in our country. The conversations, as you know, are about anything and everything that matters to a woman, and then, of course, by corollary, to society. If you are enjoying these conversations, do please like, share, subscribe so that others in your circle can also enjoy them. Thank you. Keep watching.